This conference will
hepatobiliary
now be
disorders,
recorded.
hepatobiliary disorders. Hello, is it okay?
Hello?
Anita, is there any
Yes, sir.
disturbance?
Uh, no, sir. No, sir. It is fine,
It's
sir.
correctly going on, no? Correctly
Yes,
going
it's
on, no?
correctly going on, sir. No problem, sir.
Yeah, I heard something in between. That's why I stopped in between.
No,
Okay,
sir.
okay.
No, sir. It is.
Yeah,
Sir, वो record, sir, recording ಇದು on ಮಾಡಿದೆ sir. ಅದಕ್ಕೆ ಹಂಗಾಯ್ತು sir.
sorry, sorry. Okay.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, as just I mentioned here, we can consider many conditions explained in Ayurveda under different headings under the hepatobiliary conditions or hepatobiliary disorders, and most amongst them is a Kamala. Kamala is a word which is like very commonly is a common and most important condition which is developed due to Raktava Srotagata Vikara can be compared to jaundice according to modern system here. The Kamala word is basically derived based on the two different avasthas you can say here. One is Varna Bheda due to derangement of the Varna. Second is the Swalpe Bhakta Vilasha Pravartante. When we see its derivation of Nirukti as well, Paribhasha of word Kamala, as per Vachaspati goes, Kamala Kanti Lunati Hinasti. Kamala is a condition wherein the person is going to lose the normal Varna. Here, Kanti is not luster. In this instant, we have to think as a Varna here. The person, one who is suffering from Kamala, is going to attain some abnormal Varnas like Harita, Pita, Neela, Haridra, different Varna, Krishna Varna, different Varnas have been told, and in the Sharira, and that too basically Netra, Mutra, Twak, Nakha, Anana, in these areas, different deranged colors will be observed, such as Harita, Neela, Pita, Rakta, Krishna, etc. And another definition based on Harana Chandra, it has been told Kamala iti Kamaha iti Sadharana Shabdaha Vishesha Swalpe Bhaktabhilasha Pravartante. Yeah, it's very important definition what has been told. What is that? Swalpe Bhaktabhilasha Pravartante. The person, one who is suffering from Kamala, apart from derangement in the color, he or she is going to lose desire towards all the aspect. Swalpe Bhaktabhilasha. It's a kama nasha. Kama is a desire towards all the aspects. I consider this term as Salpai Bhakta Abhilasha as it's all Ekadasha Indriyas are not functioning properly. All it's a Indriya Karma Hani. Indriya, like that's why Krishna Pida Shakrumoto Bhekavarana Hatendriya, it has been told one of the Lakshanas Koshna Shakashita Kamala. Hatendriya. What is Hatendriya? The Indriyas are not functioning properly. Hence, Salpe Bhakta Abhilasha Pravartanta is we shouldn't limit the knowledge of this world only to the appetite and hunger. Even all the it's a function of all indriyas are going to hamper. Even that can be thought of. Hence, when we club these two definitions, it Kamla becomes like this. Kamla is a disease or a condition wherein the person, one who is suffering from this condition, is going to attain abnormal varna. With that, he or she is going to develop Salpe Bhakta Bilasha. Hence, is a complete definition of Kamala. When we see the modern definition, it can be compared to jaundice. It's very well, it's a jaundice here. Jaundice is what is jaundice? Jaundice is nothing but it's a yellowish discoloration of sclera and mucous membrane. Jaundice is a condition which is developed due to the discoloration of yellowish discoloration in these areas. White occurs. In another way we can define jaundice as it's a condition, or we can say it is a laboratory definition. Jaundice is nothing but hyperbilirubinemia. Bilirubin level in serum is going to increase, and due to various reasons, and that increased bilirubin level in the serum can be called as jaundice, or in the same time hyperbilirubinemia. This increased bilirubin in the circulation will going to deposit in certain areas, and that will lead to yellowish discoloration. That basically it is observed in sclera and mucous membrane. Which mucous membrane? Basically, it's a nasal mucosa as well as oral mucosa. These are two areas where the icterus or yellowish discoloration is basically observed, that you can see here. See the film you can see in the photograph. You see what is yellowish discoloration. See, wherever one has to see the sclera. How is the sclera here? Totally yellowish discolor. Why sclera gets yellowish discoloration? What is the reason? Why not other white part of the body? Why you can make it teeth? You can see teeth. Why teeth are white in color? Why it has not turned into yellow? Why only sclera? Because the bilirubin is having affinity towards the elastic tissue. The bilirubin is having affinity elastic tissue, and because of its increase in this quantum in the serum, it gets deposited in the sclera, and that's why sclera will become yellow. That's why in jaundice, when in the
Sorry to interrupt, sir.
hyperbilirubinemia condition,
Sir,
huh?
sorry to interrupt, sir. Sir, your
Right.
screen is only first slide is coming, sir. Fourth slide, Rogamada Parikshit. That slide is visible, sir. Next slides are
Huh?
not.
But no, it's not visible.
No, sir. Still it is that one only. Rogamada Parikshit. Fourth slide, sir.
What to do? How to,
सर एक बार स्टॉप शेयर कीजिए फिर बाद में यू कैन अगेन स्टार्ट
हाँ,
टू शेयर सर
again share करो.
यस सर यू स्टॉप फर्स्ट वन फर्स्ट यू शुड स्टॉप शेयरिंग सर
I stop.
आफ्टर
I
दैट
stop. I stop.
अगेन रीशेयर सर one more time screen share the screen you can go for the option share screen sir
Just check.
yes it is visible sir now
It's visible, no?
yes it is visible sir fifth slide is visible sir
See now?
yes
Visible,
it
no?
is visible yes sir
Yeah.
visible sir
Yeah,
yes
I was discussing about the
sorry sir
ictus, where and how one should appreciate ictus. This photograph will tell you clearly where one should see ictus, and once ictus developed, how the patient is going to appear. You can see the ictus in the sclera, nasal mucosa, and oral mucosa, and below the tongue, like the dorsum of the tongue here. These are the areas one should see ictus. When you are examining a jaundice patient or Kamala Rogi, one should concentrate in these areas where, because the Varna Vikruti, Kanti Lunati, what is Kanti Lunati? The person is going to attain or is going to develop abnormal Varnas. These are the areas where abnormal Varnas are developed. Now, just now I'm mentioning what are hepatobiliary dysaccharidosis Ayurveda. It's a Pandu, Kamala, Halimaka, Kumbha Kamala, Panaki, Yakrut Roga, Pliha Roga, Udara, Rakta Pitta, and Madate. See, there are different conditions one can think of. Why I'm telling this? Because in that management of different conditions of liver disorders, you may think treatment Chikisa Sutra mentioned for this individual condition can be adopted, can be useful. It become useful. Many times I had seen I am using Udara Chikitsa in while treating the Kamala. Raktapitta Chikitsa. Why I included Raktapitta? What is Raktapitta? Just I want to give example. Raktapitta is nothing but bleeding disorder. It's a condition. Vinabhigata sputa karanatvat. Here, without any reason, patient starts bleeding. In simple, in nutshell, if at all you want to understand Raktapitta, it's a bleeding disorder. And why bleeding occurs? Why bleeding occurs? Bleeding is nothing but an abnormal condition developed due to lack of coagulation. Now, what is coagulation? Coagulation is nothing but a physiological process wherein the soluble fibrinogen is converted into insoluble fibrin in the presence of thrombin. Then, what is thrombin? This is nothing but who is going to secrete here? It's a liver. Ultimately, it's a coagulatory factors which are required for the proper coagulation of the blood are secreted by the liver. And if liver in chronic liver conditions, when chronic liver disease, if the liver functions hampered, even the same time these secretory functions also will be hampered, and because of that, once again lack of thrombin, once again the coagulation process will be deranged or hampered, and because of that bleeding may continue. And that's the reason why Rakta Pitta I have included under liver disorders. One, the another example, many times Rakta Pitta, whenever I tell Rakta Pitta, I go on tell, I quote this important knowledgeable knowledge, you can say here. When many times we do say Ayurvedic herbs are very safe, I think all of you agree. Whenever we say we don't have any side effect, you can use it, you can use it, but it's not so here. If you go through Rakta Pitta Sushruta Uttara Tantra, Dallar's comment while telling Rakta Pitta Nidana, it is Aushadhikrita Rakta Pitta has been one of the told. Aushadhikrita Rakta Pitta. What are those two medicines which are going to cause Rakta Pitta? It is Apamarga and Jyotishmati. If Apamarga and Jyotishmati, if they are used in excessively, in excessively, that may lead to formation of the Rakta Pitta. Hence, even be careful whenever you use these such drugs, like it may be Apamarga or Jyotishmati. Even the prolonged use of these medicine can produce hepatotoxicity. In turn, it may induce bleeding conditions. That's why Rakta Pitta is nothing but, once again, it can be even Rakta Pitta, it may Madate nothing but, once again, the chronic alcoholism can lead to ALD, alcoholic liver disease. Udara, Pliha Roga, as we know, it's a chronic condition. It's a different avastha of Kumbha Kamala, Panaki, Kumbha Kamala, Halim Kamala. These are nothing but it's all are different conditions of hepatobiliary diseases. Now, Now, before I start discussing about hepatitis, one should know what different terms one should be very familiar about. These are terms which I am frequently using, and while discussing chikitsa, these points I am going to discuss a lot. One is Ranjaka Pitta, second is bilirubin. As you know, what is Ranjaka Pitta? Amashashitam Pittam Ranjakam Rasa Ranjat. It has been clearly told. In Ayurveda, Ranjaka Pitta is type of Pitta which basically helps for the Rasa Ranjana. It helps for Rasa Ranjana. According to me, Ranjaka Pitta is of two types. Even though it is not specifically mentioned, directly mentioned, the types of Ranjaka Pitta, but based on the explanation available in the Charaka Chikitsa 16th chapter, based on Chakrapani's commentary, I consider Ranjaka Pitta as two types. One which does Rasaranjana, second which does Malaranjana. The Malaranjana word has been used by Chakrapani in the context of Shakashita Kamra Lakshana Tilapishta Nibavarchaha. Tilapishta Varcha is going to occur due to absence of Malaranjaka Pitta, that is Kostasya Malaranjaka Pittasya Abhavat. Kostasya Malaranjaka Pitta. Hence, it clearly indicates that Ranjaka Pitta is not only doing Rasaranjana, even it is also doing Malaranjana as per Kamala disease is concerned. This discussion is only limited to Kamala. As per understanding, Ranjaka Pitta is only limited to Kamala. Based on Chakrapani's understanding, we can think Rasaranjana and Malaranjana as the two basic types of Ranjaka Pittas. In case of here, Malaranjaka Pitta can be considered as bilirubin. The pigment part of the bile can be considered as Malaranjaka Pitta. Now, bilirubin. What is bilirubin? Bilirubin is nothing but it's a end product of RBC destruction. When RBC undergo destruction, basically it is divided into two parts. One is pigment part, one is protein part. From pigment part, we are going to get bilirubin. I'll not go in detail about how it is produced. I'll not go about physiology here. The chart which you are seeing, it's basically physiology, like right from destruction of RBC till its excretion. The different stages involved in the bilirubin metabolism. Now, hepatitis. Today's topic is hepatitis. Hepatitis is nothing but the inflammation of the liver. But what is Ayurvedic? Before discussing hepatitis, let's see what Ayurvedic understanding of the Kamala types of Kamalas and its clinical features. Now, let's see what Prabheda or classification of Kamala. Charaka is the first person to classify Kamala into two types. One is Kosha Shakashita Kamala and second is Shakashita Kamala. Kamala is of two types according to Ayurveda. Charakacharya is the first person to classify Kamala into Shakashita Kamala and Kosha Shakashita Kamala.
Sorry to interrupt you, sir. Sir, again,
Yes.
your slideshow is not running, sir. Same photo has been displayed. Now it came, sir.
Now you can see?
Yes, sir.
Yes. No? Oh. Yes. I think it's visible now.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Okay. Kamala is of two types. One is Shakashita Kamala and Kosha Shakashita Kamala. These are, and even when we see Kamala classification, Charaka and Vagbhat are very clear about the Kamala classification. But when we see Sushruta version, Sushruta is considered Kamala as a type of Pandu itself here. So even in the same thing has been told in Harita also. Now, this is modern classification. I'll go simultaneously both simultaneously. But just now we saw the Ayurvedic classification of Kamala, that is Kosta Shakashita Kamala and Shakashita Kamala. Now let's see the modern classification. In modern system, basically jaundice is classified under two headings. One is predominantly unconjugated hyperbilirubinemia and predominantly conjugated hyperbilirubinemia. Hello, I'm getting some disturbance.
Sir, again, your slides have stuck, sir. Second slide is not open. According to model, next step was there.
It's not open.
You on that slide show?
I opted slideshow only.
Or else every time you click on next slide option, sir. Every time.
Next slide. Huh?
Yes.
Okay. Now it's now you can see
No, sir, not yet.
now.
Okay.
So can you see slide?
No, sir. Share your screen, stop again. So kindly repeat once again, sir. Like just stop sharing and again restart it, sir.
That's what I'm doing now. Also.
Yes, sir.
Just check Anita now. Can you see now? Anita?
Hello, sir.
Hello, can you see now? I'm I'm sharing now. Can you see the PPT?
It is visible, sir. It is audible, sir.
It's audible and visible now.
Yes, it is visible, sir.
Now
Sir,
see
once
next
you go to
slide
the
now.
next slide, just
No, just now
uh,
check. I'm checking. Is it now? Can you see next slide now?
yes, it is visible, sir.
It's visible now.
Yes, it is visible.
Okay. Now I'll opt in this way
Yes, sir.
only. I'll not go for full
Yes, sir.
slideshow. The another method I opted. I'll go for that. Okay. Yeah.
Yes, sir. That's okay,
Where
sir.
is it? Okay.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah, just continuation. In continuation, we're discussing about the different types of kamalas. Different kamala we saw. Kamala is of two types: Shakashita kamala and Kosta Shakashita kamala. When we see modern classification of jaundice, jaundice is basically classified under two headings. One is pathophysiological classification. Second is etiological classification. One is pathophysiological classification, second etiological classification. Based on etiology, it's of three types. One is pre-hepatic jaundice, hepatic jaundice, and post-hepatic jaundice based on where the pathology is. If the pathology is before liver, that is in the reticuloendothelial system, that condition can be called pre-hepatic jaundice. Pre-hepatic jaundice is also called hemolytic jaundice, or the basic cause involved in the process of this jaundice is hemolysis. That's why the term hemolytic jaundice. Second is hepatic jaundice. Hepatic jaundice is nothing but the pathology lies in the liver itself here. Hence, it's also called hepatocellular jaundice or hepatic jaundice. And in this condition is called as hepatitis. Hepatitis is nothing but the pathology basically lies in the liver, and that is hepatic jaundice. The third classification is nothing but post-hepatic jaundice. Post-hepatic jaundice is nothing but away from the liver. Away from the liver in the sense what? It's from porta hepatis till the ampulla of Vater. That is from the common bile duct starts and where it ends. Entire length of bile duct, if the pathology lies in this area, in jaundice is resulted due to pathology in this area, and that kind of jaundice is called post-hepatic jaundice or also called surgical jaundice. It's also called surgical jaundice. Now, it's very clear based on etiology, jaundice is of three types: pre-hepatic, hepatic, and post-hepatic. Based on pathophysiological classification, it's of two types. One is predominantly unconjugated hyperbilirubinemia, and second is predominantly conjugated hyperbilirubinemia. What they mean exactly? As just I mentioned here, about bilirubin, this bilirubin is of two types. Bilirubin is of two types. One is conjugated, second is unconjugated. What exactly they mean? Unconjugated is nothing but the bilirubin which is produced immediately after destruction of RBC. The bilirubin which is produced immediately after destruction of RBC is called unconjugated bilirubin. It is highly toxic. It is highly toxic. It is not excreted as it is because it is not water soluble. It is fat soluble. And see, what is body's defense mechanism? Anything which is toxic, body doesn't want to retain it. Body want to excrete it. But poor body cannot excrete this unconjugated bilirubin as it is because it's not water soluble. As all excretory media in the body are aqueous in nature. You can take stool, urine, or a sweat. All these are aqueous in media, watery. Hence, this bilirubin cannot be excreted as it is. Hence, body wants to convert it fat soluble to water soluble. Hence, the process which is involved in converting fat soluble bilirubin into water soluble bilirubin is called conjugation. The process wherein the fat soluble bilirubin is converted into water soluble bilirubin is called conjugation, and this conjugation basically takes place in the liver, that too in hepatocyte. It's a physiology. Already I skipped the physiology because lack of timing I skipped it, but I want to say a few important steps involved in conjugation. Here for conjugation, there is a hepatic uptake. There is an enzyme called glucuronic acid which is required. One molecule of bilirubin and 6 molecule of glucuronic acid come together and conjugation process takes place. If glucuronic acid is absent or lacking, or it is very less in number, less in concentration, then it may lead to a condition called Gilbert syndrome. It leads to a condition called unconjugated hyperbilirubinemia, and in turn that condition is called a Gilbert syndrome. Very rarely seen in practice. The impaired bilirubin conjugation will lead to Gilbert syndrome. Overproduction of bilirubin led to hemolytic anemia and reduced hepatic uptake. And one of the important steps involved in the conjugation is the hepatic uptake. If this process is reduced, then that may lead to once again unconjugated hyperbilirubinemia condition, or this condition as per etiology. When we compare to etiological classification and this classification, this can be compared to pre-hepatic jaundice or hemolytic jaundice. In case of pre-hepatic jaundice, the unconjugated bilirubin level will be high. If in LFT, if unconjugated bilirubin is high, that what we have to diagnose, it is pre-hepatic jaundice. Now, second is the predominantly conjugated hyperbilirubinemia. See, in LFT, before I start, at one point I missed here. Bilirubin, just I mentioned, it's of two types. When you see LFT, liver function test, the report says bilirubin total, bilirubin direct, SGOT, SGPT, alkaline phosphatase, total protein, albumin, globulin, and AG ratio. What is this total bilirubin then? Total bilirubin is nothing but a combination of conjugated plus unconjugated, or in other words, direct and indirect. Direct bilirubin is called conjugated and indirect is called unconjugated. Its a combination is called total bilirubin. In this total, who is contributing more? Say, if the total bilirubin is 10, if direct is 8 and indirect is 2, that is predominantly conjugated hyperbilirubinemia, because the direct bilirubin share is more in case of total bilirubin. And based on the amount or the who is dominating in the total bilirubin, the respective hyperbilirubinemia is called. If unconjugated is more, it is unconjugated hyperbilirubinemia. If conjugated is more, it is conjugated hyperbilirubinemia. Now this is based on pathophysiology. The classification of jaundice just now I am discussing is based on pathophysiology. The earlier what I discussed based on etiology. In this way, in modern science, the jaundice is classified under two major headings. Now, etiological classification. Further etiological classification, in just now we saw hepatic, post-hepatic, and pre-hepatic. Hepatic. The post-hepatic condition, that is obstruction. That see when before I discussing that, just see When we club these, the two important pathology steps involved. One is obstructive pathology, second is non-obstructive pathology. You take any type of liver disorder, it may be any type of jaundice. Ultimately, there are two steps involved, two types of pathology involved. One is obstructive pathology, second is non-obstructive pathology. This obstruction can be of two types. One is intrahepatic obstruction, second is extrahepatic obstruction. Based on at what level obstruction has occurred, the respective name has been given. If the obstruction is inside the liver, that is inside the hepatobiliary system or inside the liver, that is called intrahepatic obstruction. The best example is all hepatitis. All hepatitis, it may be viral hepatitis, it may be a non-infective hepatitis, any kind of hepatitis. The basic pathology involved is intrahepatic obstruction. The second obstruction what we come across in practice is extrahepatic obstruction. What is this extrahepatic? The obstruction is right from porta hepatis till the ampulla of Vater. If the bilirubin is obstructed, the flow of bilirubin obstructed in this area, and that kind of obstruction is called as extrahepatic obstruction. In this way, total liver pathology, total liver disorder pathology, total jaundice pathology can be classified under two headings. One is obstructive pathology and non-obstructive pathology. This is very important when we start treating, when we want to adopt treatment principles of the Chikitsa Sutras. These two Samprapti type, these two are Sampraptis. It is nothing but Sampraptis. These two based on these two Sampraptis, the Chikitsa varies. It may be, is it obstructive type of pathology I'm treating, or is it non-obstructive type of pathology I'm treating? Now, let's further dissect obstructive pathology. It's a obstructive pathology is simple. It has been it's very vague as per me. Just simply saying obstructive jaundice is not sufficient here, because we want to make it microfine. In this, when we start doing this, we can like consider obstructive jaundice in these ways. One is extrahepatic and intrahepatic, just I mentioned here. This extrahepatic jaundice further can be of three types. It is extramural obstruction, intramural obstruction, and inside the wall. Extrahepatic obstruction in the sense what? It is right from porta hepatis to ampulla of Vater. If obstruction is due to some external force, extramural, what is mural here? Lumen. You take a tube, if something obstructing externally, and because of that the lumen gets narrowed, and that narrowing will lead to obstruction, and that kind of obstruction is called extramural obstruction. The best example in practice we call CF head of pancreas. Any neoplasm, any growth producing of external obstruction, producing pressure over the tube, and because of that pressure, if the lumen gets narrowed, that is called extramural obstruction. Second is intramural obstruction. Intramural means what? Something obstructing something internally. If internally something is obstructed, the best example is gallstones. Whatever Pittashmari or gallstone, what we say, when they get stuck in the cystic duct or common bile duct, if it is obstructing that kind of obstruction is called intramural obstruction. Something internally obstructing, internally in the lumen. The third one is inside the wall. Very rarely we come across. If congenital, if the bile duct walls are attraced, it's not open, that's atresia of bile duct. It's the best example for the inside the wall pathology. Best example, congenital biliary cirrhosis. Congenital biliary cirrhosis is mainly resulted due to absence of the opening of the, or if the wall of the cystic duct or bile duct are attraced, and that may lead to this condition. In this way, the extrahepatic jaundice can occur because of these three reasons. As per intrahepatic is concerned, it's a cellular level obstruction. Best example, hepatitis I mentioned here. Where generally this obstruction takes place? Basically at the level of bile canaliculi. I'm showing the pathology slide afterwards, in that where you'll understand that. Now, this is about the types based on the modern classification, jaundice classification. Now let's see when we club these two, because we want to treat it. When we club these two, the table goes like this. Unconjugated hyperbilirubinemia is a pathophysiological classification, will lead to prehepatic jaundice. It's a etiological classification. In case of prehepatic jaundice, the bilirubin level which is increases unconjugated bilirubin. Always unconjugated increase of unconjugated bilirubin level will say it is a prehepatic jaundice, and this is produced due to either overproduction of bilirubin or impaired bilirubin conjugation or reduced hepatic uptake. And this condition, according to Ayurveda, we can consider Koshta Shakashita Kamala. All unconjugated hyperbilirubinemia conditions can be considered under single heading called Koshta Shakashita Kamala, wherein conjugated hyperbilirubinemia condition which result due to either hepatic which may cause either hepatic jaundice or post hepatic jaundice. In case of hepatic and post hepatic of the etiological classification, conjugated bilirubin level will be high, and that is resulted either due to extrahepatic biliary obstruction or decreased intrahepatic excretion. See, they try to understand these two words. One is extrahepatic biliary obstruction or decreased intrahepatic excretion of the bile, and this condition can be considered as Shakashita Kamla. According to Ayurveda, this condition can be called as Shakashita Kamla. It's very, I think it must be very clear, because whenever we want to adopt Chikitsa Sutras, Shakashita Kamla Chikitsa Sutra, one has to think in treating hepatic jaundice and post-hepatic jaundice, wherein Koshta Shakashita Kamla Chikitsa Sutra has to be thought in treating pre-hepatic conditions, or in other words, when unconjugated bilirubin level is high, try to adopt Koshta Shakashita Kamla Chikitsa Sutra. When conjugated bilirubin level is high, try to adopt Shakashita Kamla Chikitsa Sutra. Now, it's not like, so there is a doubt once again. Now, if that's so, if Shakashita Kamla as per Charkacharya is concerned, it's a Aushadhi Chikitsa Sadhya. Nowhere it has been told it's Asadhya. It is Aushadhi Chikitsa Sadhya, and Chikitsa mentioned is Aushadhi. And we don't come across any Shastra Chikitsa mentioned in the context of Kamala. Hence, but as per modern science goes, post-hepatic jaundice is nothing but a surgical condition wherein the surgery is the best intervention method. That's why, based on this knowledge, I further classified Shakashita Kamla under these three headings. These two further classification, Shakashita Kamla can be further classified as Swatantra Shakashita Kamla and Paratantra Shakashita Kamla. What exactly they mean? Swatantra is nothing but it's an intrahepatic obstruction. Paratantra is nothing post-hepatic jaundice or extrahepatic obstruction. Extrahepatic obstruction. As per this slide goes, the Chikitsa Sutra mentioned by Charkacharya in the context of Kamala for Shakashita Kamala is only adoptable for intrahepatic obstruction, not extrahepatic obstruction. Whereas extrahepatic obstruction, one should use surgeon. It has to be referred for surgeon to manage that condition. Hence, we have to limit our knowledge of treating Shakashita Kamla only to intrahepatic obstruction, not extrahepatic obstruction. Now, after discussing this, let's see what is Samprapti. In brief, I want to highlight Samprapti here. We have two kinds of Sampraptis because Kamala is of two types. One is, it has been Charka has told Pandu Rogi to Atartam Pittala Nishevate, Tassa Pittam Asrug Mamsum Dakva Kamla Rogaya Kalpate. That's one. Sorry. Here in this condition, it is very clear there must be prior the person, one who is suffering from Pandu Rogi, if he or she indulges in Pittakara Ahara Vihara inexcessively, then that may lead to, once again, the Prakupita Pitta. Further, it may damage Asrg Mamsa Dagdva. The word Dagdva here is Sandushana. Madhukosha commentary in Madhav Nidana, Dagdva has been considered Sandushana. Sandushana is nothing but breaking. Sandushana also can be considered it a breaking or breakage. Hence, what is going to break here? It is Asrg and Mamsa. Asrg, Rakta is going to broken. I consider this word as hemolysis. It can be considered hemolysis. Asrg Dagdva can be hemolysis. Then you can ask, what is Mamsa Dagdva then? Sorry. What is Mamsa Dagdva? Mamsa Dagdva is nothing but, in case of hepatitis, certain amount of, like liver cells are going to damage, and certain amount of the enzymes which are present in the hepatocyte will be released. That is SGOT, SGPT will be released. What exactly it is? It is a resultant of Mamsa Dagdva. Hence, Asrg Mamsa Dagdva is nothing but, once again, it's a hemolysis, clearly hemolysis. Hence, Pandu Rogi Atyartam Pittala Nishevate, this Samprapti is nothing for Koshta Shakashita Kamla mentioned by Charkacharya, is basically indicating that there is excessive Asrg Dagdva or hemolysis is going to take place. Now, second, Ruksha Shita Guruswadu Vyayamai Vega Nigrahaihi Kafasamurshito Vayu Stanat Pitam Kshipet Balim. It's most important, very scientific Samprapti told by Charkacharya in the context of Kamala. Here, due to the opposite Nidanas, which are those Nidanas? Ruksha Shita Guruswadu Vyayamai Vega Nigrahi. Yeah, before I discussing this Samprapti, as we know, Kamala is a Pitta Pradhana Tadosha Vikara. Pittaja Nanatmaja Vikara. The main dosha involved in the Samprapti is Pitta. That's why Rechanam Kamalarthasya Snigdha Sadhu Prayojat. The main Chikitsa Sutra, whoever has been told, it's a Virachanam only. But in case of Shakashita Kamala, it's something different. That's very important. One should give much importance for attention for the Samprapti. Here it differs from Koshta Shakashita Kamala Samprapti. Here it is Kapha Sammurchito Vayu Sthanat Pittam Chipet Balim. Here in this Samprapti, Kapha and Vata is playing a major role in the formation of this type of Kamala. If you see the Nidhanas, Ruksha, Sita, Guru, Swadu, Vyayama, Vega Nigraha, all these are either Kapha Prakopaka or Vata Prakopaka Nidhanas. Due to these respective Nidhanas, Vata and Kapha gets Prakopita. And further, this Kapha and Vata produces Avarodha to the flow of the Pitta. Kapha Sammurchita Vayu Sthanat Pittam Kshipet Balim. Kapha and Vata are producing Avarodha to the flow of the Pitta, and because of this Avarodha, the Pitta which is supposed to reach the Kosta is not reaching Kosta because of Avarodha. And as you know, Vata already gets Prakopita because of the above said Nidhanas, gets further Prakopita because of Marga Avarodha. As already it's a basic point wherein Vata generally gets Prakopita either due to Marga Avarodha or Dhatu Kshaya. Here in this condition, because of Marga Avarodha created by Kapha, this Vata gets further Prakopita, and this Prakopita Vata will take this Pitta from Koshta to Shaka. And this is the best example for Ashaya Pakarshaka type of Nidana. Generally, whenever we teach students Ashaya type of Nidana, we give example. This is the best example you can quote here. That is Kafasam Murchito Vayu Sthanat Pittam Kshipet Balim. When we show diagrammatic presentation, this is the best diagram presentation. Here the Samprapti, comparable Samprapti here. In the initial Samprapti of Koshta Shakashita Kamala, Asrak Dagdva is the most important condition. And because of Asrak Dagdva, excessive Malapitta produced. This excessive Malapitta will lead to excessive amount of conjugation. Because of that, more amount of bile is reaching intestine. Hence, in case of Koshta Shakashita Kamala, wherein Chakrapani has considered this as Bahupitta Kamala, here Bahupitta word is basically derived based on the amount of pitta available in the kosta. Bahupitta Kamala, and wherein in case of Shakashita Kamala Samprapti, because of Avarodha, the pitta which is supposed to reach kosta is not reaching kosta, it is reaching Shaka, and hence the quantum of pitta available in the kosta is very minimum, hence the name Alpa Pitta Kamala. Here Bahupitta and Alpa Pittatva is nothing based on the quantum of pitta available in the kosta. Is not no way it is related to its production, is only availability. If more amount of pitta is dominant in the intestine, it is called Koshta Shakashita Kamala. It is basically more in Koshta and Alpa in Shaka, hence the word Koshta Shakashita Kamala. In case of Shakashita Kamala, it's more in Shaka, Alpa in Koshta, hence purely it's Shakashita Kamala. Hence ultimately Koshta Shakashita Kamala and Shakashita Kamala are derived or differentiated based on where pitta is more dominant. If accordingly the chikitsa has to be designed. I was mentioning about bile canaliculi. Here you can see it's an intrahepatic obstruction means what? Here you can see cholestasis. In the second here you can see cholestasis is due to what? Due to the inflammation. What is hepatitis? It's the inflammation of liver in general, hepatocyte in particular. Hepatocytes gets inflamed, and because of inflammation, the aperture which is there in between two hepatocytes gets blocked due to inflammation, and due to this blockage, the excretion, bile canal is the first aperture for the excretion of the bile is got blocked, and because of this block, bile is not excreted, it is get collected in the hepatocyte only, and this process is called cholestasis. Chola is a bile, stasis is stagnation. The bile gets stagnated in the hepatocyte due to the obstruction at that level, and this obstruction we can call it as Kapha Sammurchito Vayu. This is exactly Kapha Sammurchito Vayu. Because of this Avarodha, the pitta which is supposed to reach kosta is not reaching. It is the bilirubin bile is supposed to reach kosta, intestine is not reaching, and because of that it enters the circulation, nothing but Shaka Abhigamana. It's very clear. All obstructive type of liver pathologies can be called Shakashita Kamala. All obstructive type of liver disorders can be clubbed under Shakashita Kamala. All non-obstructive type of liver disorders can be clubbed under Koshta Shakashita Kamala. Now it's before I conclude, see, like this, I want to give us a best example, like how each and everything, each are interrelated. It's a tree. What you observe is a Raktavasrotas. Is that the roots are Raktavas, Ekrut and Plihar, the moola of Raktavasrotas. And when it gets changed, initially different conditions are going to occur. It may be Kamala, Kosha Shakashita Kamala, Plihodara, Ekrutodara, Panaki, Plihar Roga, Ekrut Roga, Halimaka, different conditions. When it is not treated properly, the tree will grow completely. The complete well-grown diseased tree can be called Kumbhakamala. Kumbhakamala is a tertiary avastha of Kamala. It's a Kalantara Karibhutat. It's an end stage liver disease is called Kumbhakamala. Kumbhakamala is nothing but end stage liver disease. Each and every disease, if it is not treated properly, will land into end stage disease. The best example, Pramehas. If it is not treated properly, Madhumeh is end stage Meha. Like that, for Kamala, the end stage liver disease is Kumbhakamala. If Annavas Rotogata Vikara like Amlapitta, Ajirana, Agnimandya, Aruchi, Shula, if it is not treated properly, ultimately end stage GI disorder is going to occur. That is nothing but Grahani dosha. In the same way, here in Kamala, the end stage liver disease, Kumbha Kamala, rightly mentioned. If you go through Charaka's version about Kumbha Kamala, how it looks and everything, is all Lakshanas nothing but hepatic encephalopathy, hepatorenal syndrome, all complicated liver disorder conditions, and that is nothing but Kumbha Kamala. Now Lakshanas, I'll not go in detail, I'll not go hurriedly cover. Haridra netasa brusha harida taktakhananah raktapita shaknumutro bhekavarna atendriyaha daha vipaka dorbalya sadana ruchikarshitaha kamala bahupitaisha kosha shakashamataha bahupitaisha. There is bahupita kamala, kosha shakashita kamala, wherein the lakshanas are haridra neta brusham harida taktakhananah raktapita shaknumutro bhekavarna atendriyaha. So I think I'll not go in detail about what exactly they mean. Already I have shown this slide, but these are the nothing but Haridra Varna, Tvak Mukha, Sinetra, Netra Pitata, the Talu, the dorsum of the tongue. You can see the lips here. Why the lip has become you can see all bleeding tendencies here because of chronic liver disease. The prothrombin time is high, so bleeding tendency is more. Even the Tvak Pitata, as patient is a bit dark, you cannot appreciate the yellowish discoloration of the skin here, but it was very yellow when we took the photograph. The photo is not yellowishness, this is not that visible, but these are the different areas where one should appreciate yellowishness. Then most important, generally no one is doing, but whenever you come across Kamala Rogi, try to see the urine color. It's very important. Ask the patient to collect the urine morning sample and the evening sample and try to compare it. The prognosis of disease, whether whatever treatment you are giving to the patient, whether the patient is responding or not, will be assessed based on urine color. Urine color plays a very important role in selecting the treatment modalities. I consider urine color is very, very important in the treatment of Kamala. Daily we have to monitor the urine color, and that will give a lot of clues what kind of treatment patient should be given. Yeah. Now, most important, Shakashita Kamala Chikitsa Sutra. It's very important. See, it shows Charaka how scientific he was, and he is, and he will be. See, when we see the clinical features of Shakashita Kamala, it is clear. It's mentioned. Tilapishta nivam yastu varchaha sujati kamali shleshmana ruddhamargam tat pitta kafahirajet rukshashita guruswadu vyayam veganigrahi, and it occurs because kapha samurchato vayu sanat pittam kshipet balim. I'm discussing only Tilapishta niva varchaha. Tilapishta niva varcha is very important diagnostic feature in the treatment of in the diagnostic as Kamala is concerned. One is Netra Pitata, second is Tilapishta niva varcha. Tilapishta niva varcha is occurs because of the kostasya malaranjaka pittasya abhavat. Here malaranjaka pitta is nothing but the bile. In the intestine, the concentration of bile, the amount of bile, the quantum of bile is very less or even absent. If that's case, then the Tilapishta niva varcha is going to occur. Here, malaranjaka pitta means what? It's nothing but stercobilinogen. Stercobilinogen is a physiological pigment which is produced. When bilirubin undergoes physiological process, at the end it is getting converted into stercobilinogen and urobilinogen. The stercobilinogen will be excreted through the stool, wherein urobilinogen through the urine. The stercobilinogen is mainly responsible for the golden yellow color of the stool. And because of absence of stercobilinogen, the stool has become Tilapishta niva varchaha. and that is if that's the case, that condition one should diagnose it as Shakashita Kamala. I'll not go in detail because the time consent is there. I have to discuss Chikitsa aspect. Then then this is about a clinical this is about the diagnosis what you mentioned. The remaining part, the next part is the lab diagnosis. The clinical diagnosis we did now. Next is the laboratory investigation, which are investigation generally we recommend. Basically, it's a CBC, complete blood count, liver functions, gamma GT, PT, viral markers, and in case of chronic liver disease, you may require renal function test, serum ammonia, serum amylase, serum lipase, lipid profile, electrolyte, etc. Serum ammonia very important. Most of people they neglect. It basically helps in assessing the encephalopathy conditions. If ammonia gets high, then patient may land up with encephalopathy. Now, LFT, because very commonly whenever patient comes to our clinic, they bring lot of old reports, and one should ultimately we diagnose what type of jaundice and is it chronic or acute jaundice, everything based on the liver function test. The total liver function test can be bifurcated under three headings. One is pigment part, the bilirubin part, second is the enzyme part, and third is the protein part. Enzyme part, pigment part, and protein part. The pigment part will tell you what type of jaundice it is. If in case if total bilirubin is high, it is jaundice. If direct bilirubin is high, it is hepatic jaundice or post-hepatic jaundice. If it is unconjugated or indirect is high, it is pre-hepatic jaundice. That is about pigment part. Second comes the enzyme part. In this enzyme part, basically SGOT, SGPT, and alkaline phosphatase will be there. SGOT, SGPT these are the enzymes which are there, and the hepatocyte. The normal level is 0 to 40 international units per deciliter. It is because of as we know, each and every cell is having its own lifespan. The physiologically after lifespan, the certain cells are destroyed, and because of destruction, the SGOT, SGPT level will be released, and that because of that, the 0 to 40 is a normal limit. If it is abnormally destructed, then SGOT, SGPT level will be high. Hence, raised SGOT, SGPT level we suggest you of destruction of hepatocyte. And wherein if alkaline phosphatase level is high, it is telling about the obstructive pathology. If it is obstructive pathology, alkaline phosphatase will be high. If it is destructive pathology, SGOT, SGPT will be high. In this way, the enzyme part will tell about obstructive and destructive pathology. Then comes the protein part. The basically protein part will tell about how chronic the liver disease is. If it is chronic liver disease, the albumin level will come down, the protein level will come down, the globulin level will be high. The AG ratio will be reversed. In this way, based on LFT, we have to diagnose. Now, treatment part, Chikitsa. Kamala Chikitsa as per Charakachara is concerned, Tatra Pandvamahi Snigdai Tikte Urdu Anurma Kahi Samshodyo Murdubis Tikte Kamalitu Virechanahi. In Kamala, basically, Murdu Tiktarasa Pradhana Virechana has been told. It's very important. It's Murdu Virechana. And the drugs one should use the Tiktarasa Pradhana Virechana. When you see other versions like Rechanam Kamalarthasya Sigdasyado Prayojet Tataha Prashamani Karya Kriya Vaidyena Janata. These are the different Chikitsa modalities. Now, Virechana, when and how to adopt Virechana. See, basically Virechana one has to adopt in case of Koshta Shakashita Kamala. Always, it's a Virechana Karma. Here, Snigdha Sadhava Prayoja. It's not Sadhya Virechana, it is Virechana Karma here. Before doing Virechana, as a Purva Karma, one should do Sneha Pana. As we know, Pandu, Kamala, Udara, these are Nati Snigdhavat. These are not fit for complete Arona Karma Sneha Pana. Here, one shouldn't expect Ativa Snigdha Lakshanas. Nati Snigdhavat. Nati Snigdhavat in the sense, Alpa Snigdha Lakshana sufficient here. Hence, that's why in case of Kamala, the type of Sneha Pana, before Virechana, the type of Sneha Pana is nothing but Sadhya Sneha. As a Shodananga Sneha, the type of Sneha Pana one should use is Sadhya Sneha. Here, the Sadhya Sneha one has to use, and Sadhya Sneha, as we know, Sadhya Sneham to Aharam Eva. It is not like, the Sneha quantity must be digested within 24 hours. That quantity one has to select. But in practice, how we practice, generally we give initially Vrushasi Mata 30 ml of the Sneha, second day 75 ml, and third day generally 125 to 150 ml of Sneha is given here. Then after that, Vishramakala. Vishramakala, as Pandu is Kamala is a Pitta Pradhana Vikara, and Tikshna Mahasweda is contraindicated. Tikshna Mahasweda is contraindicated. Here we have to adopt Lagu Sneha and Lagu Sweda and generally we recommend either Ushnajala Snana or Guru Pravarana is the best type of Sweda one can think of. Just I'm mentioning here for Snehapana, we can think of Kalyanaka, Panchagavya Grta, Mahatiktaka, or different Gratas. Dallana, it's very clear, it is plain Grta, even Murchita Grta also can be used. Even if you have Kalyanaka, Panchaga, Mahatiktaka, all these medicated Gratas you can use. If you don't have, even plain Murchita Grta is also best in for Sneha, as a for Sadhya Sneha in case of Virechana in Kamala can be used. Then after that, Vishramakala, Virechana. What Virechana one has to give? Generally, Virechana, whenever you say it's a universal Virechana drug, Trivut Leha is common, whenever we are using, all of us are. But here it is Mrudubi Tikti, Mrudu and Tikta. Which drug one can think of? If at all you want to give the specific drug, I consider Mrudu and Tikta is Karavellaka can be used. Karavellaka Pathasurasa, Phalasurasa can be given, or even Katuki preparations also can be given. But in practice, we use Trivut Leha, wherein 5 milligram per body kg weight it is used. It can be given for Virechana. After Virechana, I'm running because I'm running out of time. I have another speech, that's why I'm going a bit fast here. After Virechana, one has to do after Virechana. Yeah, before I discuss after Virechana here, Shakashita Kamala Chikisa Sutta one should see here. Just now, whatever I discuss is for Koshna Shakashita Kamala. Koshna Shakashita Kamala. Now, what is Shakashita Kamala Chikisa Sutra? शाकाशितक बर्री तित्रि दक्षिणां वृक्षामले कटुकै रसहि शुष्कमूलक कुलत युषश्च अन्नानि भोजयेत् मातुलुंग नागर क्षौद्र पिप्पली मरिचान्विताः. It's very important recipe told by Charaka in this shloka. In case of Shakashita Kamala, when patient comes to you, he is not fit for Snehapana because it is Kapha Sammuchita Vayu. Here the stool is Stila Pishtaniba Varchaha. Here the amount of pitta available in course is very minimum, or in other words, bile is absent. Bile is absent. Bile, as you know, it contains bile pigment, bile salts, and bile acids. And bile salts are essential for the digestion of fat, that is emulsification of fat. As bile is absent in the intestine, the emulsification of fat is not taking place. In such circumstances, if one does snehapana, it may aggravate the samprapti. Hence, don't give snehapana in case of Shakashita Kamala in initial phase when there is a Tilapishtaneba Varcha type of samprapti. In that condition, what one has to do? Initially, one should give Trikatu Churna. Trikatu Churna 5 gram, honey 5 ml and lemon juice 5 ml. Mix this and discontinue it. How many days one should continue? आपित्त रागा शकृतो वायुश्च प्रश्मात् भवेत् स्वस्थान आगते पित्ते पुरुषे पित्तरंजिते. Till the appearance of these निवृत्त उपद्रवस्य स्यात् पूर्व कामलिको विधिः. Till the appearance of this appearance of the stool varna, normal varna to the stool, one should continue this kind of recipes. What is this recipe? Either Shushka Mulaka Yusha can be given, either Kulatta Yusha can be given, or Tikatu Churna one can give with this. And this has to be continued till the Apitta Raga Shakruta Vayusha Prashmat Bhavet Nivrutta Upadravasya Purakta Kamaliko Vidihi. Now, apart from this Virechana, we have another treatment, another two treatments we have mentioned in the Kamala in Yoga Ratnakar and Bhava Prakasha. They are Anjana and Nasya. Anjana and Nasya. Anjanam Kamararthasya Drona Pushpe Rasenatu Nisha Gairika Dhatrinam Chunam Cha Upari Lepayet. Anjana has to be applied. Anjana and Anjana is basically helpful in removing the localized bilirubin which is there in the as before I discussed that exact concept, I want to highlight a few things here. What is jaundice? It's a bilirubinemia, increased bilirubin in the body. The bilirubin increase can be seen in two areas. One is systemic bilirubin, second is localized bilirubin. Anjana will help in removal of the localized bilirubin, the bilirubin which is getting deposited in the sclera. Anjana will help in, that is once again removing pitta from netra is nothing but pitta rechana. Hence I consider Anjana is a kind of removing pitta or pitta rechana itself here. The second is Nasya. Another treatment mentioned by author is a Nasya. Nasyam Karkota Moolam va Greyam Jalini Phalam. Here Nasya with Jalini Phala is nothing but Jalini Phala, Nasya Jimutaka Phalaswarasanasya or Jimutaka Moolanasya. Jimutaka, I had practiced it and I had seen people practicing in Kerala here. It's very rare practice in the liver disorders. What happens by you adopting Nasya with this? It is very inflammatory solution. After putting the swarasa of this Opidaka Nasya, the swarasa of either Jimutaka Phala or Jimutaka Mula swarasa, it produces severe inflammation in the nasal mucosa, in turn produces severe discharge from the nasal mucosa. And I observed the discharge which comes out after putting this Jimutaka swarasa is yellow in color, serous discharge, yellowish in color. Hence, I consider it's a way how we remove the nasal mucosa, the bilirubin which is deposited in nasal mucosa. It's an excretion of that. Hence, it's a pitta ration itself here. It may be Anjana or Nasya, ultimately will help in removal of the localized bilirubin, wherein the Virechana, what I discussed earlier, will help in removal of the systemic bilirubin. Ultimately, it may be localized or systemic. Ultimately, what we want, Rechanam Kamalarthasya. Ultimately, we want to remove the excessive pitta deposited in the body. In this way, we get rid of pitta by adopting these different methods. After this, after Virechana, it's clearly after Virechana, what after Samshodhana, we have to Samsarjana Krama, one has to adopt. Samsarjana Krama, what is Samsarjana Krama? Here, in case of Patya and Apatya, after adopting Virechana, Samsarjana Krama, one has to adopt. After Samsarjana, one should start the Shamana Chikitsa, and Shamana and Patya is very important. In case of Patya, Charaka is very clear. As per Kamala disease is concerned, Sa Yava Godhuma Purana Shalin Mudgadaki Masurasya Puranasya Rasahitaha. He has considered three important food segments as per Patya is concerned. One is Sa Yava Godhuma Purana Shali. Yava Godhuma Purana Shali. What these are? These are monocotyledons rich in carbohydrate. And in what form it has to be given? It has to be given in the form of Yusha. It's not roti or some complicated issues here. It's only pure Yusha form it has to give. Why Yusha? It's a liquid gruel prepared out of either Yava, Goduma, Shali. And what kind of dhanya? These are Purana dhanyas, not Navadhanyas. Navadhanyas are always Abhishandi. Navadhanyas are always Abhishandi. 10 minutes join ಆಗ್ತಾನೆ ಇದು ಸ್ಪೀಚ್ ಮುಗಿಸ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದಾನೆ ಒಂದು 5-10 minutes. Yava Goduma Purana Shali, all these are Purana Shalis are Anabhishandi. Always one should remember whenever we are treating these disorders, one should use all Purana Dhanyas, not Navadhanyas. Navadhanyas generally they are Abhishandi. One shouldn't use even for in the healthy condition as well as in the unhealthy condition. Whenever you have to use Dhanyas, it must be Purana. And rightly mentioned by Charakacharya, Yava Goduma Purana Shali, Yusha has to be given. I consider this is rich in carbohydrate and this is best carbohydrate supplement. Then Mudga Adaki Masura and Mudga Adaki Masura. What these are? Dicotyledons rich in proteins. Hence it's a protein supplementation in the form of Yusha. Then Jangala Prani Mamsarasa. Charaka was very diplomatic. He doesn't want to disappoint non-vegetarians because the people, those who fond of eating non-vegetarians, they ask, what about me? I like non-vegetarian. If that's the case, then what has to be done? Then for them, he has rightly mentioned, if at all you want to use Mamsarasa, then it must be from Jangala Prani Mamsarasa, not Anupa Rauduka. Use Jangala Prani Mamsarasa. Why? Jangala Prani Mamsarasa are Ishat Snigdaha. The Snigdhata or Sneha which is available in the Jangala Pranis, Ishat is Alpa compared to Anupa and Auduka. Hence, it's a less fat. Hence, fat quantity must be reduced. Rich protein, rich carbohydrate diet, which the modern people they advocate at present condition, has been told thousands of years by Charakacharya in the context of Kamala. I think it's very scientific what Patya he has mentioned here. It may be Jangala Prani Mamsarasa or it may be Jangala Prani Mamsarasa, it may be Mudgadaki Masura or Yava Goduma Purana Shali. Ultimately, it's nothing but the balanced diet supplementation in the Manito Kamala. Now, before I conclude, let's see how one can compare these two Chikitsa Sutras. How one can see Shakashita Kamala Chikitsa Sutra and Kosha Shakashita Kamala slide. I try to compare it when and how to adopt the different Chikitsas in the management of Kamala. In case of Kosha Shakashita Kamala, measures to be adopted to bring in case of Shakashita Kamala initially to bring Pitta from Shaka to Kosta. and for that we have to use the aushadhis which are tikshna ushna. It's works on based on the concept called vrudhyat vishandanat paka sroto mukha vishodat shaka mukha malam koshna myanti vayushcha nigrahat. It is nothing but the principle to bring the dosha from shaka to koshta. And after adopt, and this is best adopted by using simple drug called trikat churna. Here trikat churna, either shushka mulaka yusha or kulatta yusha, these things one can recommend initially. Once the stool color starts becoming normal, if in the intestine, after observing this clinical feature, then we have to adopt purokta kamaliko vidihi. What is that? It's tatra pandvamani snigdai tikshnai urda anulomakaihi संशोधो मृदुवी तिक्तै कामलेतु विरेचनैहि. Then virechana or anjana or nasya or shamana chikitsa, based on requirement, based on Vadyavastha, one has to think before before I conclude different shamana chikitsas. I'm briefing. Uh, I'm running short. I already I'm already late. I had to attend another lecture. It is supposed to start on 11:15. That's why I'll just name. I'll not tell the conditions. Some other time I'll discuss in detail. In case of pre-hepatic jaundice, Navayasa loha, Dhati loha, Punarava mandura, Pulatrikadi kashaya, Mandura vataka loha sava can be thought of. As per in case of hepatic conditions like Arogyavardhini vati, Krimikuta rasa, Yakrutliantaka loha, Kumari asava, Patola katukurunadi kashaya, Vasa guruchadi kashaya, and different herbs. If at all you want to use Ekamulika prayoga, or if you have certain drugs in the your vicinity, either these can be thought of like Guduchi, Nimba, Vasa, Eranda, Pipali, Sharapunka, Brangaraja, Bunimba, Katuki, Karavellaka, Bunmamlaki, and this is the best combination. It's a take home message for all the students as well practitioners. No need to have complicated combinations or like market generic medicines. Simple, you can think of Tricatu 5 gram, Nimbu Sorasa 5 ml, honey 5 ml, Guduchi Nimba Bringraja Bumbamlika to Sorasa 50 ml, and Tifla Nimba Haridra Guduchi Kashay 50 ml. This combination, in most of the 80% of the cases, even say 90% of cases, patient will respond best with this type of combinations. And Pathya already discussed here. Like whatever I discuss can be like it may be cereals or it may be vegetables or it may be legumes, it may be animal products. There are different things you can recommend in the management of triambula. Once again, yeah, in hurriedly I covered. Some other time I'll discuss in detail about these conditions in some other time, as there was time consent. I want to conclude here. Thank you. I thank the organizers, thank the management for giving me this opportunity to share my experience in the field of different liver disorders on the eve of this World Hepatitis Day. Thank you, Anil.
Can I talk to the organizers?
Yes, ma'am.
Can you please share the recording of today's session?
Yes, ma'am. We will be sharing in YouTube and our Facebook Live, and even our Facebook page. It will be available, ma'am.
Oh, okay. How would we get the link?
Yes, ma'am. You can go to the SBJ AMCH page, ma'am. You will get there, ma'am.
Oh, there is a separate page. Is it SBG AMC?
AMCH Belagavi.
Okay, I'll just make a note. Sorry. Could you, if you don't mind, could you repeat the page? SB
Yes. SBG AMCH
G
Belagavi.
AMCH. Belagavi. Thank you so
Belagavi.
much. Thank you, doctor.
Okay, ma'am.
Yes, got it. Thank you, doctor.
Thank you all for attending the session and making it successful. Now we will end the session.